So if you guys ever wondered what it's like living in a camper, it actually ain't too bad, man. You got all the amenities that you need. You got refrigerator here. Got all my food. Got freezer. Got my hot dogs in there. And microwave, stove, oven, mini oven here. Pantry, food, sink, couches. And we got my pooch here. My baby boy. And in times of trouble, man, especially in technically the housing crisis that we're in right now, I mean, the economy right now is not hot, man. It's not doing great. I was an over-the-road truck driver for about 4.5 years. I've been driving trucks for about 8 years now, and I started out with dump trucks and construction, asphalt driving and whatnot. Gotta take out my garbage, but here's the bathroom, shower, sink, toilet, bedroom. But yeah, I was an over-the-road truck driver for about 4.5 years, and with trucking, man, things are up and down. And what I've noticed with trucking as an owner-operator, all your money goes into the truck. Unless you buy a brand new truck and a brand new trailer and finance it, then you're in business because you'll have hardly any breakdowns. You'll have insurance and warranties and whatnot, but the thing is, if you buy a brand new truck and trailer, there is no stopping. You have got to continue to drive to pay those bills, pay the truck note and the trailer note. So I chose the route by used, which is, I guess, good right now, because when the market's down and your truck's paid off, you can park it and you don't have to worry about it. But you got to worry about paying for parking and whatnot. But honestly, after doing it for 4.5 years, 5 years, I don't want to do it no more. The only problem is the resale value versus a new truck versus a used truck. You might as well keep the truck and use it for something. I got off the road. I started. I had a tow truck, or a hook lift truck that I went to New Jersey and bought, and I've had that for a long time. When I got off the road, I started buying and selling heavy equipment, because when I first got off the road, I was homeless, and I was sleeping in my car, and I ended up getting a local. I was staying in hotels, sleeping in my car, going to hotels for a bed and a shower, and somewhat of living a normal life. And I had my equipment parked at a yard while I was trucking over the road, some shipping containers and whatnot, other truck. I had 3 trucks. I had some drivers driving 2, and I was driving 1. On and off, I'd have a driver leave, come, so one truck was always at the yard most of the time, and 2 of them out. And I got a local job because I was living at a truck yard in my car, and I got a local job on Indeed delivering groceries and produce between Milwaukee and Chicago, and it paid good. But the people there sucked, man. The people there sucked, and they started cutting my hours, and I wanted to work more and more and more, and they started cutting my hours. Let me see if this camera... Oh, look at that. Camera flips around. They started cutting my hours and judging me because my dog would come with me to work every day. And the owner of the company was cool with it, but I don't know. The dispatcher started getting a little bitchy. He started giving me good routes when I first started, but then after a while, he started cutting my routes to like nothing, and I couldn't even live off of it. So basically, they were starving me. They were playing favoritism. I don't like that in the workforce. Any job you get at a company or factory, man, they're always gonna put a number on you, play favoritism, company politics. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. That's why I chose to be an owner operator and work for myself in the first place, man. You don't need to deal with all that bullshit, or very, very minimal. And but anyway, I sold one of my Freightliner Classics and a forklift, and I came up on a good amount of cash. And I told myself, why don't I just buy and sell equipment? What am I doing driving over the road when I can buy and sell equipment and make a larger profit per sale, right? So I started doing that. I took the money that I made, I rented out, I got a house I rented, and I rented out a warehouse, and I started buying and selling equipment, and primarily material handling, excavators, bobcats, skid steers, stuff like that. But I was going good for a while. I started out with like 30K, and I made it up to 80K until I had some previous loans. Before I started doing this, I had some previous loans that I had taken out to put a brand new engine in my semi truck. And it took me a long time to pay that off, but I still had that over my head and to worry about. So when I started doing this, the amount of money that I made selling some equipment ended up being a good amount, and I thought to myself, I'll pay that off in no time, which I definitely could have. And so basically, my transmission on my tow truck blew up. Number one, that was about 10,000, roughly, and from a dealership, and it took them months to fix too. And they did a few things wrong, and they fixed a few things for free. And after that, I paid back these loans because I was tired of having them over my head, right? And every month I would spend about 30 grand, make back 40 grand or more, right? So I'd be making like 10 grand a month profit off my 30 grand. And I made it up to like 80 grand. Sometimes I'd make more, sometimes I'd make less, sometimes I wouldn't make anything per month. But the next month would be either better or worse. And I paid back. I had a month where I had sold all my inventory and had a large amount of cash. And I had no choice but to fix my truck, put a new transmission in it. And I had to pay back those loans, which was about like 10, 15 grand I had to pay off. It was like more like 25, actually. And then once I paid those off, I spent the rest on more inventory. And I had 3 slow months, and I had all my inventory. I had almost $0 in cash. I had like 5 grand left, and I had 3 slow months and no one was buying. I decided to myself, once I sell these, machines that I have, it's all gonna go towards the rent and everything. And I decided, keep the machines, sell out. I had to get rid of the warehouse. I talked to the landlord. He was cool with it. I walked away from it, and I put my stuff in the storage yard, and I sold mostly what I had. And I kept the cash, and I still had some machines left over. And I traded some of those machines for a camper, because I actually had lost my house too. I had someone break into my house and shoot my car. I actually lived in a pretty not the best area. And so I ended up leaving that house. They tried attacking me for the rest of the lease. It's a shame too that it happened right when I renewed the lease. And there was a lease break fee I paid. It was like 2 months of the rent up front, and I paid that. And I got rid of my house, and I traded what I had for 2 campers, because I had to adapt to my surroundings and my environment. Forklifts don't really drive well in gravel, especially when it rains and snows. So I decided trade them for campers, and I actually appreciated in value when I got these campers. And I'm trying to sell them and actually get into buying and selling houses and flipping houses. But the main topic of this video is, you know, living in a camper, and how it is living in a camper isn't that bad. It's better than sleeping in your car, I'll tell you that. You get all the amenities, like I said, but finding a place to park it is another tricky issue. And thankfully, most truck stops accommodate RVers, truckers, long-term parking. They got water and sewage hookup. They got propane here. They got everything you need. They got showers. It's winter time here, so I got my RV in the winter, so everyone has their water turned off. So I don't have water right now, and I'm still kind of like learning how this RV works and the water and the plumbing and all that stuff. But if anyone wants to know what it's like living in an RV, this is it. It's not too bad. And like I said, you got all the amenities you need. What more can I say? I'm actually trying to, like I said, I'm trying to sell this. And another one, maybe a semi-truck. I got some motorcycles and a few other machines. And when I do sell those, right now no one's really buying anything because it's winter. And on top of that, the economy is not the best, especially right before Christmas. So, but anyway, this is what it's like.